Boys and girls, this is Benjamin Bok Choi. Welcome back to another F123 ranked online video. Once again, I had to re-record another video because I was a little bit too mean the first time I recorded this. So let's try to be a little bit nicer. I'm not a family-friendly channel by any means, but I also don't want to come across as super toxic. So let's just go ahead and try to be a little bit nicer in this recording. We gotta be nice, right? Just spread positivity and hopefully people will stop driving like assholes. So we had a patch drop this week for F123. I was sick for a couple days, so I didn't get a chance to take a look at it or play the game until today on Wednesday. And it does seem like some of the handling model changed a little bit. It wasn't too much, but a little bit. I did read some comments from other people saying that they were having a few more issues with the brakes in braking zones and with traction in traction zones. And I did notice a little bit, but I don't know if it was a placebo effect because I had read those comments, but it did feel like the changing model got changed up a little bit. And usually when they wipe out the time trial leaderboards, it's because they have made some changes to the handling model. So I'm not quite sure, but it seems like the setups that we were using before the patch dropped still worked, and that's what I'm on right now. Just up the tire temps or tire pressures a little bit. So we set purple sectors and a purple lap. Right at the end there, we just let off the throttle a little bit to try and hide some of our pace because we were setting purple sectors, and I wasn't quite sure what the pace of the guys behind us were. So I didn't want to give away too much of our pace, so we kind of let off, maybe lost half a second, 3/4 of a second, but we were still almost about 2 seconds up on the driver in P2 and even more on P3 and P4 there. So we've definitely got the pace there, and I thought this initially was going to be a nice and easy win, but there's a reason why this video is up or this race is up in a video by itself. So let's just go ahead and get into it now. The tracks this week are Mexico, Azerbaijan, and Las Vegas. Now, I think Las Vegas has been in the rotation once or twice before, but I don't think Azerbaijan or Mexico have, or at least I haven't had any races at Mexico or Azerbaijan. So we are in Mexico for today's race. I did about an hour of practice, just kind of going through all the tracks just to make sure the setups still worked. So I didn't spend too much time practicing, so we're kind of cold going into this this race here. We're in Silver 2 this week. We got 2 Silver 1s and 1 Bronze racer in this lobby. So we have the highest division ranking, and we were like 2-3 seconds faster than everybody else in qualifying. So I thought this was going to be an easy race. But as you can probably tell by the title and just the fact that this race is in a video on its own, that's probably not the case. So start of the race now, 5 red lights. And you know we don't normally get good starts. Not a terrible start there, but not like a great start as well. And we're going to lose out here even with DRS, or not DRS, with ERS because we don't have the tow. So drivers behind will get the tow. I think we're all on pretty much the same setup here. I'm not going to fight it. I do use a little bit of battery just to kind of stay close because I don't know if these guys were just actually slow in qualifying or if they made mistakes. So I do want to stay close on the first few laps and just kind of suss out their pace there. So we lose 2 positions, but like I said, once again, with the qualifying times, I wasn't too worried. So we have water leader in P2 and someone who we will call DTS fan in P1, and you'll see why in a little bit, in the Red Bull livery. So probably a Verstappen fan. And from his driving, I can see he is a huge fan of 2016 Max Verstappen. So going into the S's here, not amazing lines from the guys in front of us, but tires aren't up to optimal temperatures yet, and it's the first lap, so everybody's still probably trying to figure out where the grip is. We get a load of understeer going into the stadium section, managed to keep it on the track there, and these 2 guys in front of us have some moments throughout this first lap, so we're gonna kind of keep an eye on them. P2 decides to dive down the inside. DTS fan kind of closes the door after he had made a mistake. So I was like, okay, some argy-bargy going on there. I don't know, was that 2016 Max Verstappen argy-bargy, or is that Lance Stroll, I don't check my mirrors argy-bargy? So we're going to keep an eye on these guys. They're fighting into turn 1. The guy behind us was using a lot of battery, but right at the last second, he backs out of it. And on corner exit here, water leader tries to make a move, and DTS fan just knocks him off track. So at this point, I'm like, Okay, could have been another Lance Stroll. I'm not checking my mirrors moment there, but we're not quite sure yet. So Water Leader gets the worst of it. He drops back about 7 seconds now to P4. Fortunately for him, there's only 4 drivers here, so he didn't have to fight too many cars to catch back up. So we're going to keep an eye on DTS Fan in front, and Mercury 7 behind us. Didn't look like he had amazing pace either, so I'm not too worried about him. Again, some more questionable lines going into the S section at Mexico. And we are going into the stadium section now, and we're just going to kind of set him up. We're going to test him on this main straight and see how he reacts. Is he going to try and just drive into us while we drive by him, or is he going to let us by? So once again, he gets a bad final exit. We get a pretty decent exit. We're going to turn on the overtake nice and early and see what he does here. We set the fastest lap. We get right on his gearbox, and as we pass him, okay, no reaction here. He just let us by, which made me a little bit worried because we saw what he did on that first lap, and I thought he's going to squeeze me here, isn't he? Yes, he does. We're right on the apex there, and he squeezes us. Tough but fair. Okay. Once again, he gets a bad exit out of the chicane there. We're going to get the run going down to this left-hand corner, and we do get out in front of him, and I see him move out to the side, and I thought, oh, okay, this is definitely intentional now. This isn't Lance Stroll. I'm not checking my mirrors. This is 2016 Max Verstappen. I'm just going to drive into everybody. So DTS Fan decides to just drive like a douchebag. And this is the nice commentary. He should have heard what I was saying the first time. Actually, the first 3 times I recorded. I had to record this like 4 times because I was super angry. But yeah, DTS Fan, now we know it's intentional, so we have to be super careful because he's just going to drive into us. This is not good defending. This is not good defending at all. This is, I'm just going to drive into everybody and hope that they move out of the way so that I don't destroy both of our races, and I'm going to put it on everybody else to not destroy our race. So he's putting it on me for me to move out of the way so that my car doesn't get destroyed, which is a dickhole move. So once again, we get DRS and we use overtake only down to 10% now, and I'm like, he's going to do it again, isn't he? Yes, he is. And so now I know it's definitely intentional now, and he just keeps driving into us, doesn't give us any space whatsoever. We get caught up on each other. Mercury 7 goes around us on the outside, but I think he might have overtaken us off track and gotten a warning to cede the position back. So I already know he's not going to give up this position easily, even though we are like 2 car lengths in front of him. So I figured if this is going to be how you drive, then I'm just going to take out your front wing. So we're going to try another overtake and see what he does. And then just go from there. So going into the S section once again, I'm really surprised he doesn't really know how to drive. And yet, he's not getting any time. He's cutting these corners and still not getting any time. So we use the DRS to close right up on him going into stadium section. I thought we'll give him a taste of his own medicine. We'll dive it right down the inside and see how he likes that. Oh, he didn't like that. He's fighting back now, just driving into us intentionally. So I thought, all right, I'm going to take his front wing. I don't even care anymore at this point. We're going to take his front wing and see what he does. He's an idiot, so he's probably going to make the wrong decision. You see the Red Bull livery carbon fiber come out, and I know he's got a damaged front wing. And instead of coming in on this lap, he decides to go out for one more lap. Now, I'm not sure if Mercury 7 was helping me there destroy this guy's car. If you were, thank you, Mercury 7, for your help. That douchebag deserved it. So DTS Fan decides to go on for one more lap, I should say. Water Leader, who I thought had damage, apparently he didn't, is following him out for one more lap as well. Now, I did make a mistake here. I apologize, Mercury 7. I thought you were going to give me the position here and not fight quite so hard. This is all on me. I just overcooked it and didn't expect you to be there. And that's my fault. I hope you didn't get any damage there, buddy. I got a little too anxious, and I just wanted to get out in front and make sure that we get an undercut on DTS Fan. So that was a bad move on my part. I do that from time to time, so I do apologize. But on the next lap, actually 2 laps, next 2 laps, yeah, DTS Fan stays up for 2 laps for some reason. Instead of coming in and changing out his damaged front wing, he stays up for 2 laps with no front wing and loses a whole bunch of time. So another sign that he's probably not the smartest driver in the world. And we jump him right away. We were coming through the stadium section just as he was going into the pit lane entries, so no threat anymore. DTS fan is so far back now, it's not even going to matter. Now, I was worried about Water Leader in front of us since he didn't seem to have damage. He caught up to us right as we got into our little altercation with DTS fan. So I wasn't quite sure what his pace was. I don't know how long the pit stops are at Mexico, so I wasn't quite sure what kind of gap we needed in order to jump him in the pit lane. So right now it's about 21.5 seconds, and I figured we were close enough to jump him in the pit lane, but I wasn't feeling too comfortable on these medium tires, and on top of that, we changed onto the medium super early in the race. I think it was lap 5, almost the start of lap 5, that we came in and changed onto the mediums. So we're going to need to create that gap right away because he's going to have much fresher mediums than us, only by about maybe 4 laps or so. But 4 lap fresher tires is actually a pretty big deal, and I wasn't quite sure of what his pace was. Now, I know that we did get into a lot of incidents with DTS fan that allowed Water Leader to catch up, but I still wasn't quite sure how fast this guy was. So I wanted to make sure that we jumped him in the pit lane. Coming around, we set the fastest lap, and we do manage to jump him just as he's hitting the pit exit here. And we have a 2-second gap. I think it was, yeah, just about a 2-second gap, and we managed to drop Mercury 7 to about 4.5 seconds back, and he is carrying the 5-second penalty as well. I think he picked up from driving into DTS fan when we got into the incident in the stadium section there. So all is well, that ends well. I think we all ended up where we should have, according to our pace, and don't really care where DTS fan ended up because he was driving like an idiot anyway. So I don't like to call out people, but when you're going to be driving like that, I think you need to be called out. I think putting you on blast so that all my 50 viewers, all 50 of my viewers see you. But just in case anybody else does manage to catch this video and run into that guy, yeah, they'll know to watch out for him in the race because he's not the cleanest driver in the world. So I don't know, maybe he could just be a new driver that doesn't really know how to defend, and he thinks driving like 2016 Max Verstappen is the best way to defend, but that is definitely not the best way to go. So yeah, we managed to put 2 seconds on P2 while he was warming up his tires on his outlap there, and it should be easy sailing to the end of race. Now, I wanted to lap DTS fan just so I could troll him a little bit, but as slow as he wasn't that slow. So we'll just cut to the end of the race now, start of lap 18. We managed to put 14 seconds on Water Leader in P2, who was actually pretty fast, actually. Lap to lap, I think he was like less than a second slower than us, but on the last couple laps, he started making some mistakes, and the gap grew to like 16 seconds. But I think the gap sat at about 5 to 6 seconds for quite a few laps before I think his tires either started going on him or he just started pushing way too hard and making mistakes. But he was actually a lot closer than that gap actually represents. Mercury 7, 38 seconds back now as well. I think he was the bronze driver, so that makes sense. And DTS fan now over a minute behind. We were so close to catching up to him and trolling him. I think maybe 10 seconds behind him here. I really wanted to just drive by him in the DRS zone and just open and close the DRS. I don't know why. I'm so petty sometimes. When you drive like that, I'm going to act super petty. But we come away with the win anyway. And yeah, watch out for this guy if you guys run into him. He's like, I don't know, Kimi Velocini or whatever the Gran Turismo 7 guy is. The the guy that always drives dirty. That's who he reminded me of anyway. But we take the win, boys and girls. And after this race, I just did not want to race anymore. I kind of got tired of it. Still wasn't feeling super well. And after driving with DTS fan there for that race, I just was done with it. So if you think I've earned it, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for more. Remember to eat a bok choy. Boys and girls, please try to drive clean in your races. And I'll see you guys in the next one.